At the age of 27, Aizawa Azusa accidentally overexerts herself to the point of death. However, a compassionate goddess grants her immortality and reincarnates her as a witch in a new world. Azusa is resolute in her pursuit of a peaceful existence, establishing a farm in the mountains and engaging in daily slime hunting as a way to pass the time. Over the course of 300 years, her extensive knowledge of medicine earns her the title of the Witch of the Highlands. On a whim, she decides to have her powers measured by the Adventurers Guild, discovering that her experience of slaying countless slimes over 3 centuries is equivalent to defeating 4,380 dragons, making her the strongest adventurer in the entire world. Before long, her carefree life is repeatedly disrupted by challengers, including Laika, a legendary dragon, who ultimately meets defeat, but accidentally destroys Azusa's house in the process. Laika returns in the form of a young girl, offering her treasure hoard as reparation for the damaged home, and expresses a desire to become Azusa's pupil. Considering the potential benefits of having a pupil made in the long run, Azusa accepts Laika's proposition, intending to teach her the value of daily effort, starting with the construction of a larger dwelling for them to reside in. A girl closely observes Azusa, harboring a strong desire for revenge. Laika discloses that attacks from villains and monsters are likely to increase now that people are aware of Azusa's strength, prompting them to erect a protective magic barrier around Flata village. Fulfa, a child, asserts that her sister, Shelsha, intends to assassinate Azusa and shockingly reveals that Azusa is their mother. To Azusa's surprise, she learns that the sisters are actually slime spirits age 50, formed from the souls of every slime she has slain. While Fulfa regards Azusa as their mother, Shelsha harbors a deep-seated resentment towards the slimes and seeks revenge. Azusa's magic proves ineffective against Shelsha, who unveils her 50-year-long training to perfect the Smite-Evil spell specifically designed to counter Azusa. However, Laika steps in to protect Azusa and effortlessly defeats Shelsha. Fulfa explains that due to Shelsha's singular focus on training to defeat Azusa, she is defenseless against other threats, and will need at least another 50 years to use the spell again. Confronted with the reality of her grudge, Shelsha decides to let go and embrace a happy life. Azusa, filled with compassion, chooses to become their mother and extends an invitation for them to live together. Shelsha agrees to allow Azusa to continue exterminating slimes, but only those of the white variety, which are considered evil. Azusa realizes that a life with a dragon pupil and slime daughters can also be filled with tranquility. Azusa's home becomes the unexpected destination for Hakura, an elf girl, who seeks assistance in dealing with the demon Beelzebub. Hakura reveals that she invented an energy drink called Nutri-Spirit, but it had adverse effects on Beelzebub, prompting her to flee to evade punishment. Sympathetic to Hakura's plight, Azusa agrees to take her as a student and erects a protective barrier around her house. However, while gathering mushrooms, Hakura carelessly consumes one with aphrodisiac properties and attempts to seduce Azusa, resulting in her receiving appropriate discipline. To Azusa's surprise, she realizes that Beelzebub, disguised as a housefly, has been present in her house all along. Azusa challenges Beelzebub to a duel, during which the demon accidentally flies into the barrier, causing her to faint from the shock. Azusa aids Beelzebub in her recovery, during which Beelzebub reveals that the Nutri-Spirit didn't make her sick. In fact, it provided her with the energy to work throughout the night, but her own excessive efforts led to her illness. Beelzebub actually desires more Nutri-Spirit. Azusa reprimands Hakura for wasting her time. Subsequently, Hakura decides to relocate her Nutri-Spirit factory to Flata, enabling her to continue living with Azusa. Beelzebub agrees to visit again for a friendly resolution to her duel with Azusa, as well as to meet Fulfa and Shelsha. Azusa embraces the idea of her expanding family, until Laika unexpectedly announces her return to her own home. Laika clarifies that her departure is only temporary as she needs to attend her older sister Layla's wedding, and she extends an invitation to everyone. Laika then transports them to Mount Rocco, the fiery abode of the Red Dragons. However, their joyous celebration is disrupted when dragons from the rival Blue Dragon clan, led by the infamous bully Flatert, crash the party. Flatert, envious that Laika's sister is getting married before her, commands her fellow Blue Dragons to freeze Mount Rocco with their icy breath. Initially, Azusa chooses not to intervene in this inter-clan conflict, but when her daughters are endangered by one of the dragons, she takes action and defeats the Blue Dragons, compelling Flatert to flee from the wedding. Upon reaching Mount Rocco's village, Azusa discovers Beelzebub, who is there for a hot spring vacation, absorbing the remaining magic from the defeated Blue Dragons. Laika compels the captive Flatert to assume her human form and bear the responsibility for the damages caused. Additionally, Azusa forces Flatert to sign a peace treaty, ensuring that she can never launch another attack against the Red Dragons. During the wedding, Flatert begrudgingly wishes Layla well in her married life. Laika asks Azusa if she can now be regarded as a sister, considering her own sister's marriage. Azusa happily accepts Laika as her younger sister, Beelzebub as her older sister, and considers Hakura her mischievous apprentice. Due to the presence of a ghost in Hakura's new factory, she has been unable to recruit any workers. To address the issue, Azusa calls upon Beelzebub for assistance, as she herself is frightened of ghosts. Beelzebub compels the ghost to manifest itself, revealing that she is a teenage girl named Rosalie who tragically took her own life centuries ago. Rosalie's parents had selfishly sold her off to marry a cruel man. The factory, which used to be her family home, has become her eternal prison as a ghost. Beelzebub discloses that possessing a human body would enable Rosalie to venture outside the building, thereby granting her freedom. Azusa proposes Hakura as a convenient vessel, which greatly excites Rosalie. Once at Azusa's home, Rosalie realizes that she is trapped within Hakura's body. Beelzebub explains that this could eventually prove fatal for Hakura. Attempts to remove Rosalie from Hakura prove unsuccessful as she cannot be shaken out, exorcised, or frightened away. In the hopes of resolving the situation, they decide to intoxicate Rosalie, allowing Hakura to regain control of her body. Subsequently, Rosalie is sobered up by being submerged in freezing water, causing her to exit Hakura's body. It is then revealed that Rosalie possesses magical abilities, and she dispels the rumors surrounding ghosts by proving her usefulness to the villagers. This enables Hakura to commence the recruitment of workers for her factory. Beelzebub announces that Azusa will be honored with the prestigious Demon Medal of Honor for her role in bringing an end to the war between the dragon clans. This honor requires them to visit the demon realm. Rosalie expresses concern about not being able to wear a nice dress since ghosts are perpetually bound to the attire they died in. As there is no known spell to alter a ghost's appearance, Azusa takes it upon herself to create one. Surprisingly, she succeeds in transforming Rosalie into a beautiful dress. Beelzebub arrives accompanied by a colossal, flying whale demon named Fatla, who serves as their means of transportation to the demon realm. Fatla is so immense that she carries a luxurious hotel on her back, managed by her sister Vania. After spending the night there, they eventually reach the capital city of the demons, Vanzeld, where they are scheduled to meet the Demon King. Much to their surprise, the Demon King is a young girl, named Pruvit Picora Aliers, who happens to be a fan of Azusa and Hakura's Nutri-Spirit drink. However, Hakura fails to recognize Pruvit as the Demon King initially and unwittingly makes several impolite remarks, leading her to grovel for forgiveness. Despite the unintentional insults, Pruvit finds Hakura amusing and readily forgives her. Unfortunately, as Hakura rises from her groveling position, she accidentally headbutts Pruvit, rendering her unconscious. Consequently, Hakura's action of inadvertently attacking demon royalty leads to her arrest and a death sentence being imposed upon her. Azusa devises a plan to awaken Pruvit by employing a repulsive potion. Upon awakening, Pruvit accuses Azusa of attempting to poison her and proceeds to challenge her to a duel. Azusa renders Pruvit's sword useless, prompting Pruvit to agree to spare Hakura. However, she confesses that she had been searching for someone stronger and proclaims Azusa as her elder sister. Reluctantly, Azusa assumes the role of a commanding elder sister and compels Pruvit, now insisting on being called Pecora, to release Hakura. Pecora discloses her inclination towards submission and expresses her desire for Azusa to dominate her. During the ceremony for the Medal of Honor, Pecora presents medals to both Azusa and Laika, along with Flatert, symbolizing the conclusion of the Dragon War. Pecora also coerces Flatert into allowing Azusa to touch her horns as a gesture of peace. Flatert reveals that by touching her horns, Azusa has become her master, binding her to serve Azusa indefinitely, or face self-destruction. Azusa realizes that Pecora manipulated her into taking Flatert home, prompting her to instruct Flatert to think and act independently, thereby liberating her from servitude through a technicality. Nevertheless, Flatert decides to live with Azusa and affectionately calls her mama, leading to a rivalry between siblings with Laika. Laika and Flatert engage in constant arguments, leading Falfa and Shelsha to speculate that their grumpiness stems from a lack of fresh meat. Natalie, a member of the guild, arrives with news of a wild boar invasion, which excites Laika and Flatert. After successfully hunting down the boars, Beelzebub and Fatla appear and organize a grand feast featuring boar meat. During the course of the meal, Laika and Flatert admit that their squabbling was due to their desire to take turns sleeping next to Azusa. In response, Azusa allows both of them to sleep in her bed. Azusa becomes aware of someone impersonating her and, in an effort to gather information, she and the others inadvertently enter a pub that caters to masochistic individuals. The proprietor offers to identify the fake Azusa if they spend time mistreating her patrons, a task that Azusa and Laika surprisingly excel at. The imposter, an elderly woman, attempts to flee but is captured and transforms into a young witch named Ino. Ino reveals that she is a skilled medicine maker who desires fame while maintaining her anonymity. Azusa proposes that Ino sell her medicines under the guise of an idle girl, allowing her to achieve both fame and obscurity. Ino's medicines gain immense popularity, prompting her to seek Azusa's advice on expanding her business. Hakura even contemplates the possibility of becoming Ino's business partner at her factory. Falfa undergoes an unexpected transformation into a slime and finds herself unable to revert to her original form. Beelzebub suggests seeking the guidance of Intelligent Slime, who resides in Pecora's castle. Although Intelligent Slime is unaware of a solution, she directs them to Magician Slime situated on a nearby mountain. Magician Slime reveals that she used transformation magic to assume a human form after being a slime herself. Recognizing Falfa's condition as her sleep form, Magician Slime determines that Falfa must have strained a muscle during sleep, rendering it arduous to maintain her human appearance. Given that Falfa transformed instinctively, she must now learn how to revert back. Magician Slime recommends approaching Fighter Slime, who acquired her human form through the study of martial arts. The search leads them to Fighter Slime participating in a martial arts tournament, in which both Azusa and Beelzebub decide to compete. Beelzebub emerges victorious over Fighter Slime, who subsequently aids Falfa in regaining her human form. Seeking closure on their past duel, Beelzebub challenges Azusa to a final bout. Determined not to lose while her daughters are watching, Azusa defeats Beelzebub once again. However, Beelzebub later remarks that Azusa's triumph in the tournament will amplify her fame, potentially leading to more challenges in the future. Fighter Slime expresses her desire to become Azusa's disciple but is defeated upon sensing the aura emanating from Azusa, signifying the number of slimes she has exterminated. Consequently, Fighter Slime becomes the reluctant student of Beelzebub. Skifanoia, a rabbit girl musician, pays a visit to Flata village, but her death music fails to impress the villagers. Overwhelmed by hunger, she faints, prompting Azusa to take her home where she discloses her true name, Cuckoo. Cuckoo has been struggling as a musician for 63 years and is now contemplating the idea of pursuing a conventional job. Azusa advises her to persevere if it brings her happiness. Flatert, an ardent music enthusiast, points out that death music is no longer popular and questions Cuckoo's talent. Azusa suggests a change in style and invites everyone to contribute new lyrics. Laika sings about her unwavering devotion to Azusa. Hakura composes a song promoting her Nutri drink. Falfa and Shelsha join in with a song about grasshoppers, and Rosalie expresses the melancholy of being deceased. Inspired by Azusa and her family, Cuckoo decides to abandon her Scaphonoia persona and creates a song based on her experiences. Just then, Beelzebub arrives, listens to Cuckoo's new composition, and demands her performance at the Demon Music Festival. However, Cuckoo experiences stage fright at the prospect of such a massive audience. Fortunately, Flatert comes to her aid, assisting her in overcoming her fears. Cuckoo performs her song titled Thank You, receiving an overwhelming applause from the crowd. This breakthrough performance leads to numerous offers for future concerts. Cuckoo expresses her gratitude to everyone who believed in her, with special appreciation for Flatert, who encourages her to continue playing the style of music that brings her joy, regardless of external opinions. Hakura accidentally feeds Azusa a magical mushroom, turning Azusa into a child. Azusa is annoyed, but Laika and Flatert are delighted. Azusa summons Beelzebub, who is unable to resist her cuteness but agrees to take her to Pakora, who is also smitten with Azusa's cuteness but directs her to a dungeon within a giant world tree where an alchemist lives. Azusa expects a dangerous journey, but finds the tree has been turned into a 108-floor tourist attraction where the higher they travel, the more money the tickets cost. Navigating the tourist traps takes time, and they stay overnight in a hot spring on floor 38, then the next night on floor 84. Reaching floor 108, the alchemist, a young girl, gives her the cure pills made by Ino. Ino arrives and is surprised Azusa climbed the tree when wyverns could have flown her to the top, plus the medicine is available in Ino's shop close to Azusa's home. Azusa returns to Pakora's castle and takes the pills, but forgets to change clothes first, so when she grows her clothes, tear and leave her naked, to Pakora's delight. Tired and dirty, Azusa insists everyone bathe together, including Pakora, who asks if she can grope Azusa's adult breasts, chasing her around the bathroom. The group pays a visit to Flata, which is bustling with preparations for the upcoming dance festival, an annual 2-day celebration of the harvest. In the past, Azusa had distanced herself from such festivals, but now, having formed strong bonds with her companions, she desires to contribute something meaningful to the event. While enjoying lunch at a cafe, Azusa finds inspiration by observing the unique strengths of each individual around her, sparking the idea to open a coffee shop called the Witch's House on the eve of the festival. In anticipation of the festivities, Azusa and the others try on their waitress uniforms, plan the menu, set up the coffee shop, and distribute flyers throughout the Flata town to generate excitement. On the eve of the festival, witnessing a long queue forming outside their coffee shop, Azusa decides to open an hour early, eager to serve the eager customers alongside her companions. As the day progresses, the coffee shop becomes increasingly busy, prompting Beelzebub, Vania, Fatla, and even Pakora to lend a hand. Slime Fighter, Ino, and Cuckoo also pay a visit to the bustling coffee shop. With the collective efforts of everyone involved, Azusa and her companions successfully serve all the customers, eventually closing up shop. Azusa expresses her heartfelt gratitude to her friends for their contributions, acknowledging their role in making the coffee shop a resounding success. As they take a well-deserved break, Azusa takes a moment to reflect on the events and experiences that have shaped their journey thus far.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.